Well, if Wednesday's hump day, I'm not humping anything because hump day is now fight day. That's right. We're going to get down to the beatdown right now on Logan Summit Show. I am your fearless host, Logan Summit. I know you thought we weren't going to do it, but here we are doing it once again. And I've got my new friend, Kyle LACANLALE in the house. I think your new nickname, we just came up with it. Let's try it out for the first time here. Kyle Lock and Load, Lock and Lolly. And might be a little bit too much on the nose, but we'll move forward. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing great.
All right, I see you're a Raiders fan in the background there. Are you sad that we stole your football team from you?
Yes, I am. I wish they were still out here. I
Yeah,
grew up. I grew up a Raiders fan. My pops is a Raiders fan, so we die hard.
well, we stole your football team. Now we stole your baseball team. We're coming after your chess team next, my friend.
Yep.
Watch out. Watch out. Vegas has got you, baby. Vegas has got you. All right. How is San Ramon, California treating you today?
It's good. The weather's good. It's getting hot out here. I'm looking forward to summer.
Yeah. How hot does it get there? Because in Vegas right now, it's tepid. We've only had a couple days in triple digits. How are you guys doing out there?
It's not as hot as Vegas, but we get.
Yeah, most places aren't as hot as Vegas in a bunch of different ways, but that'll be for you to figure out as you get older. All right. You are 5-0. Congratulations. You're on a 5-win streak. You will be fighting September 6th at Thunder Valley. I think that's the Thunder Valley Showdown. Now, you don't know who you're going to be fighting, but does it really matter to you all that much? Do you treat camps differently depending on the fighter, or do you just focus on yourself at this point in your career?
We definitely treat each camp differently depending on who I'm supposed to fight. We always try to, gear my game plan towards who I'm gonna fight. But each camp, we're trying to elevate the things that I need to elevate for my personal game. So that's really what I focus on each camp is just continuing to elevate my skill and put on a better show than I did the last time.
Now, exactly when did you go pro?
I turned pro in August of last year.
And are you happy with that decision? I mean, it looks like you're happy with it.
Oh yeah, I'm really happy with turning pro. I was in the amateurs for a long time. I gained a lot of good experience at the national level. I feel like I fought all the top guys, and I was able to compete with them. It was the time for me to jump into the pro game and show what my skills could do at the next level.
And you have been showing your skills off. Like I said, you are 5-0. However, your last two bouts have been won by decision. How do you feel about it? Yeah, a win is a win is a win. But I know as a fighter, you don't ever want to see the judges tell you who won.
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to get them out of there when I'm in the ring. Um, the last two dudes I fought were really tough. They've never been stopped before. They've been in there with tough opponents. I knew I was getting into tough fights when I signed to fight those guys. But I feel like when I got in the ring, I was able to box and put on a good show. Um, I won every round against both of my last two opponents. Um, and my last fight, I came real close to stopping them a couple times.
And your last fight was at the Next Generation of Fighters against Rudolfo Molina. And the fight before that we were speaking of, it was at the Thunder Showdown number dos. And you were fighting Brandon Badillo. And both of those decisions, but they were both unanimous decisions. So there you go, getting it done. Now, I would assume that it doesn't matter who you're going to be fighting at Thunder Valley. You're going to be looking to put them down on the mat.
Yeah, correct. Um, I train real hard to be explosive and put on a show for everyone that comes out to support. Um, if the knockout comes, it comes for me. I'm always happy with the win, but I want to go out there and entertain.
Yes, being an entertainer. Now, do you put anything into your ring entrance or anything like that to help with that entertainment factor?
We always try to switch it up a little bit going into my ring walks. I usually let my dad do that. He likes to throw on the old school stuff sometimes. We'll switch it up. The last fight I came out to some worship music. Um, but we switch it up. Different. I like to come out real calm and collected when I come out on my ring walks.
So you even back in the day when you first started out, did you have that adrenaline jump getting to the point where you can be comfortable in your ring walks? Did that take a while, or have you always had that headspace?
Um, my first fight in Oakland, I had a lot of people turn out for me. Um, it was real loud, real excited, and I like to embrace those moments. And I feel like with each fight, it just gets easier and easier. Um, you know, I've always had family come out and support since I was a little kid in the amateurs. So I feel like I've grown used to it over the years to have a big crowd and a lot of people, a lot of eyes on me as I walk to the ring. So I'm real comfortable with it now.
Have you always wanted to be a pro boxer, or was there a point in your career where you were like, "Ooh, MMA is looking pretty good"?
It's always been boxing for me since a little kid. I played a lot of sports growing up. I grew up playing basketball while I boxed as well. I wanted to play basketball for as long as I can, but there was a point where I had to make a decision to pick one and commit to something. So I made that choice to stick to boxing. And since I was a little kid, I've always dreamed of becoming a professional fighter.
Well, congratulations, you're there, my friend. How did a team sport like basketball contribute to teaching you something that you still use in your ring today?
Um, I wouldn't say it was the team atmosphere that translates, but it helped me realize that in the ring, it's all on you. The work that you put in the gym, you can't hide behind someone like you can in basketball. You could, fade in the background, let your teammates, control the game. But in boxing, if you put the work in, or if you don't put the work in, it's going to show in the ring because it's just you and him at the end of the day. So it relies heavily on me, and that's what I like about the sport of boxing. My work is going to show, and it's a matter of will and skill in there.
All right. So when you're not boxing, then do you like golf and bowling and fishing because they're all singular sports, or do you like to go down to your gym and box somebody out and get back into that basketball?
I like to do all that stuff. I still love to play basketball with a lot of my friends. I was in a bowling league with with some of my cousins, fishing, um, all of that stuff. I like to do that outside of the ring, keep myself busy.
That's good. It's always good to be busy. What has been the hardest thing about turning pro? I always ask, well, two questions to this. One, how did you know it was time to go pro? And I think you already pretty much answered this. You felt like you fought the best of the best in the amateur ranks, correct?
Yes.
So then what was the hardest part about going from amateur to pro?
Um, Getting that first fight was real tough. Um, I didn't have the biggest name coming out of the amateurs, um, but once that first one stuck, things started to roll. I knew I had the skills to fight at the professional level. We just had to wait for the opportunity to fight. I turned pro last August, but we were really trying to turn pro since the November before that. So it was almost a year. It was like a real long camp where I had fights fall through. I had opponents pull out and just a lot of craziness going up to that. But then finally in August, we got that fight to stick, and I had my first one. That was really the hardest part about making that transition from the amateurs to the pros.
Now, how do you feel about your team and your camp out there in San Ramon, California? Has it been easy to find great training camps and great training partners?
Oh yeah, I think my team that we have right now is real good. My dad is my head coach. We have Coach Ali, Coach Tony, and Coach Bryant. I have two other boxing coaches and a strength and conditioning coach. They all four of them work together in scheduling the training that I'm doing and the sparring that I'm doing. The sparring is real good around here. We train with a lot of the top amateurs and the other pros around in the area. Um, you know, and my coaches all have really good experience, and I trust in them and allow them to put me in the right positions.
Yeah, like you were just saying, at the end of the day, it is you against your opponent in the ring. But here at the Logan Summit Show, we always say it takes a village to build a fighter because it's not just you. There's a team effort, and it is that team that pushes you through to the end. So that's great that you're able to find a good training partner. Now, you said your dad's your coach. So, what is the first boxing match that you remember sitting on your dad's knee and watching?
There was a lot when I was real young. I remember, I think it was the Pacquiao Cotto or Pacquiao Hatton fight. When I was real little, I was falling asleep, and then Pacquiao dropped them. I remember just everyone getting up, and I was real excited. I was like half asleep seeing the fight, but when he dropped them, that woke me up, and that's the stuff that I remember growing up watching.
Now, did you have a favorite fighter growing up besides your father?
Um, Manny Pacquiao, Nonito Donaire, and Andre Ward. Those were probably the three biggest fighters that I connected with as a little kid.
So Mayweather versus Ward, who wins in the fight?
Mayweather versus Ward.
Yeah.
I gotta ride with Andre.
All right. I mean, it's the battle of the undefeated. Let's go. I'm just saying. And I'm just gonna drop this little knowledge on you right now. The only heavyweight to ever finish undefeated with his title was
I don't
I'm
know.
giving
I need that one.
Rocky Marciano from Brockton, Massachusetts.
Rocky Marciano.
Yeah, I believe he was 30, 40. No, he was 48 and 0 with 43 knockouts. I believe that was Rocky's career there from Brockton, Massachusetts, just like the marvelous Marvin Hagler that I'm sure. Have you ever seen Sugar Ray Leonard against Marvin Hagler, World War One and World War Two?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, those fights, that was the first fight I ever watched was World War Two. And I was in second grade, so you weren't even born then.
Yeah.
Great fights, though. Absolutely great fights. And also back then, you really didn't watch too many fights that were outside of the heavyweight purse. Everybody, back then it was all heavyweight this, heavyweight that. So for Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Duran, all those other great fighters in those, we won't call them lesser weight classes, but the middleweights of the world out there getting it done and showing up. Hey, Roy Jones Jr. got it done as well.
Yep.
So nowadays, how do you feel about this influencer boxing? Is it ruining the sweet science, or is it great because it's getting more eyes on the sport and more money into the pockets?
Um, I think it's good. It's bringing a lot of eyes into the sport. As long as you gotta respect the guys that are putting the work in the gym. People think that some of these fighters aren't taking it seriously, but I know some of them, and a majority of them are in the gym putting in work. So you got to respect that as long as they're, respecting the game. But in terms of the eyes that they bring, that's good for the sport. We always want eyes on the sport, and you know, people that wouldn't have thought of watching boxing are watching boxing now. So I have no hate towards it.
Now, do you think boxing needs to simplify itself a little bit? And by that I mean there's too many belts, too many weight classes for the average fan to get into. It differs so much from MMA, and let's be honest, MMA is more popular than boxing right now. Back and forth, you can go up and down all day about that. But do you think that it would benefit boxing and MMA if they did more of a unilateral rule?
Like like a merge kind of thing, have the
Not
same weight.
merge, just keep it simple, stupid. We've got three belts in every weight class that no one knows anything about, and you've got 8,000 million weight classes that the average fan can't wrap their head around as far as boxing is concerned. Remember, people don't have the stick to itiveness that they used to have. Uh, I mean, there's a reason that boxing has fallen through the cracks over the last couple decades here. And I think it's because it's just too complicated for an average fan to sit down and watch and be able to keep up with.
I would agree with that. To simplify, I think would really help and make fighters fight each other more. If you had like three belts in every weight class, in less weight classes, then people would have to fight each other for that top position. People can't hide behind their one belt or this and that anymore, and ride their own little wave. They would be forced to cross paths with the other greats, and that's what people want to see. So at the end of the day, we want the best fights and to fight the best competition. So um, that's what the fans want to see, and I think that would definitely help to simplify the sport.
And a lot of these fans want to see these big names from yesteryear get back into the ring. But just because George Foreman won a heavyweight title at 45 years old doesn't necessarily mean I want to see people my age get in a ring. I'm turning 47 in a few days. I don't need to see people my age get into a ring. How do you feel about all this? Obviously, it's a money grab, but if it brings eyes to the sport, is that good in the long run? Even though we're getting a watered down version of what these people, some of these great boxers, um, used to be.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings on that. Like Manny Pacquiao fighting this summer, I grew up watching Manny
Mhm.
fight, and I have greatest memories of him fighting. But his last couple fights, it hasn't been the same for him. So I'm always gonna be rooting for him when he gets in the ring. But you always have that doubt in the back of your mind as these guys get older. I don't want to see him go out hurt or go out bad.
Yeah, and he said the other day in a press conference or an interview of some sort, he said, "No, this is going to be the old Pacquiao." That's not possible, buddy.
Hmm.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's just not possible. You can't turn back the hands of time. Tom Brady's been the one who's closest to it, and I'm pretty sure that's because him and Tom Cruise sold their soul to the devil somewhere along the way. All right, to believe that you can jump 10 years and put on a good show, I don't know if that's going to be possible. Are you going to get paid for it? Yes. Are we all going to watch it? Of course we are. But maybe that leads to him and Logan Paul, or I mean, Jake Paul getting into a ring. How do you feel about Jake Paul specifically? Obviously, he's put in some time. Everybody's talking about how he's not a boxer. Well, for the last 5 years, he's been a professional boxer. I don't know when you start calling him a boxer or not. I mean, yes, is he a creator? Indeed. Did he come from Vine and TikTok and all that BS? Yes, he did. But here he is bringing money to the sport, getting people paid. Those lovely ladies that headlined Madison Square Garden and got to do it again. That was the first real payday for women in the sport of boxing. Christy Martin somewhere was going, yes, finally we did it, and she paved the way for it. Um, all of that is good stuff, but it's still getting a bad rep. Exactly where do you think Jake Paul fits into the boxing community?
Um, aside from all the crazy YouTube and TikTok stuff that he does, you have to respect him for training and taking it serious. Any fighter you have to respect that dedicates their time into this craft and steps in the ring. Bringing the views and the money in, that's I think that's good for the sport. These women in boxing and even these other fighters, these male fighters are getting these paydays because of the views that are coming in. And at the end of the day, as a fighter, that's what you want. You want to get paid for your work and all the hard work that you put in. So
Indeed, we do. Indeed, you do. What were you going to say?
so I think Jake Paul in the sport is a good thing. It's you can't look down on that.
No, at some point, we got to start realizing that, yes, he is a pro boxer. This is what he's been doing for the last few years. It's all he's been doing for the last few years. And if he continues to fight decent combatants and be able to get in there and do it. I mean, that Mike Tyson fight was, look, they didn't talk about it, but Mike Tyson literally almost died 8 months prior to that fight, which is why they moved it back. He had 8 blood transfusions. When they took him off that plane for a quote unquote medical emergency, he had 8 blood transfusions. And at 50 something years old, 55 years old, 8 blood transfusions is almost dying. And then he was able to get into the ring again 8 months later and not die. And Logan was kind of got talked down to in the on the internet, the web, because he said I would have killed him if I was in the ring. And what he meant was Tyson shouldn't have been in that ring.
Yep.
But Tyson needs to get paid. He's got 2 houses here in Vegas that I don't think he's allowed to step foot in. So he needs to get paid. Now, speaking of getting paid, I need you to go over to newer.com, use code Logan to save yourself 20% off pro gear at amateur pricing for all your content creator needs. Literally everything: my lights, my monitors, my teleprompter, my green screen you can't see. My whole studio is Newer. So go over to newer.com, use code Logan, save yourself a little bit of that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And yes, you can find the link in the About section of whatever platform you're watching us on. All right, we've got Kyle LACANLALE, and he will be fighting September 6th at Thunder Valley. Kyle, we asked you a little bit earlier, but let's do it again. Make your final prediction. How do you see yourself winning this fight, and when do you see yourself winning this fight?
September 6th. I'm excited to perform and put on a show again at Thunder Valley for all the people that come out and support. I have some time to train. I'm ready to, perform and put on a show. I feel like I'm gonna be sharp. Um, I always come in shape and prepared to fight. So I know it's gonna be fireworks when I get in the ring on September 6th.
All right, that's not a prediction.
I'm
You told me that you're ready to fight, but you didn't make a prediction.
I'm coming out with the win on September 6th.
All right, there you go. Now, this is a little section where it's called Your Time. It's your time down here. It's their time up there. It's your time to talk about whatever you want: your favorite video games, your pets, your mom, your dog, your training partners, the sponsors you have, the sponsors you would like. I don't really care. You want to propose to somebody? Now's your time to do it. Kyle, this is your time. Take it away.
Shoot. I want to thank all my sponsors. Moving Waters Pool Service, Flex Pass, the Collective, CTO Jules, Bobby LACANLALE Real Estate, and Perform for Golf. Casey's Got Cakes. Their support throughout the camp meant a lot. I want to thank everyone out to my last fight in at the fairgrounds, September 6th. I'm fighting at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Come check me out and support. Um, I'm always training hard and focused on elevating my game. I'm ready to continue putting on good shows for the rest of this year and continue to build my name and my record so that in 2026, hopefully I get better opportunities.
All right. Now, did you say that you are sponsored by a cake company, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right, talk to me about that. Is that the first place that you go for reward day? Because here at the Logan Summit Show, we don't call it cheat day. It's called reward day. Have you had the cakes on a regular basis? Do you love the cakes on a regular basis? What's up with the cakes?
Casey's by Cakes. Um, Casey's Got Cakes is by Terrence Casey. That's someone that I've known for a long time. He always comes through and hooks up the cakes after my fights. The bundt cakes. He got all type of flavors.
Oh yeah, let's go bundt cakes. Heck yeah, bundt cakes.
That's what I go to. That's my go-to after a good fight.
Well, tell Casey he should send a few cakes out my way here in Vegas. I love a good bundt cake. And I mean, who doesn't love a good bundt cake? All right, Casey's Cakes. You got some work to do, my friend, because we want the cakes. We
Get
want
some.
the cakes. All right, it's time to play the game that all the kids are talking about on the playground and all the adults are talking about around the water coolers. It's time to play 5 questions. Kyle, are you ready to play 5 questions?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. 5 questions, of course, is brought to you by Newhouse. If you need office decor, home decor, you need a good, comfortable place to put your butt, go over to newhouse.com. Use code Logan Radio Rocks to get yourself all that cash money off. That's right. Logan Radio Rocks at newhouse.com. And yes, thank you for asking. You can find the link to that and the link to Newer right here in the About section of whichever platform you are watching on. All right. Question number 1. I need 2 answers to this question. I need the best and the worst about living in California. It's such a big state, and you hear so many things about California. Give me the best reason to live there and the worst reason to live there.
I say the weather's good out here. I enjoy it. The worst thing about California, things are so expensive.
Mm-hmm. I saw strawberries were $20 for a pound of strawberries in LA the other day. Have you ever what's the most egregious thing that you've walked into a store and thought, I'm not paying for that?
I don't know. Let's say ammo. I like to shoot guns. Ammo,
Okay.
ammo's expensive out here.
All right. Yo, come over here to Nevada. You know what? Have Casey send me a bun cake. Oh, no, I probably can't send ammo across state lines. All right. Let's
No,
not do
God,
that. Let's not do that.
no, God,
Bad boys,
please,
bad
no,
boys. What you
no,
gonna do? What you
no,
gonna do when they come over the state line and grab me?
no.
All right. Question number 2. What has been the biggest hurdle for you inside your fighting career and outside your fighting career?
Um, inside my fighting career, I would say just developing confidence as a kid. You know, my dad's my trainer, so we would butt heads a lot when I was younger. But you know, growing to learn that that relationship's always gonna be there, and trusting in what my dad says, knowing that he's leading me in the right direction, and building that confidence with him, but building the confidence in myself, knowing that I have him in my corner, and that you know I've been doing this for a long time, and that my skill is um, you know gonna show for what it is. And then outside my career, I would say you know, it's a challenge sometimes to balance, you know, life and being a professional fighter. I'm a full time college student. Um, you know, family, um, and you know, being a full time fighter, I gotta dedicate myself to all of those things. But you know, I was raised to put 110% in all that I do, and I find the time, and you know, I thank God for blessing me with the abilities that I have to be able to manage that and still be successful in each thing that I do.
It's great that you're still going to college. Tell me, where are you going and what are you going for?
I go to Cal State East Bay. I'm a kinesiology student. I'm gonna get my bachelor's in kinesiology next spring.
All right, tell me what kinesiology is.
Movement of the body, all those little things from you know biomechanics to you know PT. You could you know work for a team or
Yep.
become a personal trainer one day, something
You
like
could,
that.
yeah, you could become a doctor, bro. You could become a doctor of physical therapy. I dated a woman who went into that field after we broke up. I have dated 2 women who have gone back to school and become doctors. I push women in good directions. I'm just saying, okay? I knew what kinesiology is. I just wasn't sure everybody at home knew what it was. And you know what? Once they start Googling stuff, now somebody's on their phone going, "What the kinesiology?" And the next thing you know, we've lost them to a Walmart ad or something like that. All right. Question number 3. California is a big state. We talked about it. If you could visit any city in California, which one would you like to go to, or which one do you like to call home when you're away from home?
Home when I'm from away from home. I don't like SoCal too much. Everybody's big on SoCal, but I'm cool from down. I'm cool on down south. Um, I would say Daly City. It's close to the city. I got a lot of family out there. We go out there a lot. I would say Daly City.
All right. What's your favorite thing to do when you go there?
I don't know, just see family and hang out. I'm
Is
really
there a favorite restaurant or something like that that you all go to?
ooh. My parents are big on Toto's Pizza in San Bruno.
All right. San Bruno, Toto's Pizza as like the little dog from Wizard of Oz, Toto, or the band Toto?
I don't think it's either of those.
I don't think it is either.
It's been a staple for a long time.
All right. Question number 4. What motivates you?
What motivates me, you know, as a fighter, um, I want to continue to be the best version of myself, and you know, just display that in front of everybody. As a kid, you know, hard work and dedication was instilled in me, and you know, I always want to push myself to the limits, and you know, continue to put the best version of myself out. I feel like a kid from San Ramon, not too many people see kids from San Ramon become professional fighters. I think that God put you in a position for a reason to, you know, shine and show the gifts that He's giving you. And you know, I feel like my gift has been boxing, and I want to take that to the highest level of what I can do with it.
Well, that's good. That's good advice for anybody, and I'm glad that you're looking out for the people coming behind you, in front of you, all of that stuff, because it's so very important to keep in mind that. when you're in a ring, there's 10 kids out there looking at you, seeing you the same way that you saw some of your favorite fighters growing up. So you always need to remember that it's not just you in that ring. You're carrying a lot of other people on your shoulders, and you know what? That's a really cool experience for anybody. It's not like carrying them on your shoulders in a bad way. It's like, yo, I get to have these people look up to me, and I can make a difference. Even if it's that one person that you get into the gym, and whether they take it seriously and become the next Mayweather or not, just to get them off the streets into the gym, being better physically and mentally is and part of a great gym community is a win in and of itself. So that's a win for you and a win for everybody around you. And I appreciate you for that. All right, let's get to the last question. Question number 5. All right, you're going out to see a movie. You're going to relax and just watch something blow up. Who's your favorite action star?
Oh, I would say Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, Rush Hour movies. Those are
What?
my go-to movies. I would I like something funny, but the action's in there as well.
You know, they were talking about trying to make another one of those, and Jackie Chan's like, no, bro,
I know.
settle down.
I was excited for those.
Yeah, settle down. I mean, they may be coming out, but Jackie Chan's like 85 years old now. Have you ever gone back and watched Rumble in the Bronx?
No, I have not.
Okay. All right. You have homework, young man. You
Okay.
got homework. All right. I need you to watch Rumble in the Bronx. It's it will blow your mind. He does all of his stunts, and at the end of the movie, when the ending credits are going, they show you all of the outtakes of him getting hurt during stunts.
Oh.
And at one point, he broke his ankle and continued.
Oh man.
They put a cast on him and made it look like a sneaker, and he continued. So you have homework to go check out Jackie Chan Rumble in the Bronx. Next time, yeah, Rumble in the Bronx. Yo, your dad, if your dad's in the room, he's probably going, yeah, that's a good flick. Because it's an older one. But hopefully you watch that. I'll watch you get your next win, and then we can talk before your following fight after the September 6th fight at Thunder Valley. And I assume it will be available right here on millions.co pay-per-view. Get involved. Come see my good friend Kyle LACANLALE. Remain undefeated and get that 6th win on September 6th, right here on millions.co. And while you're at it, check out my merch. I make merch for fighters. Yes, do I have a Logan Summit Show logo shirt? Of course I do. You got to have one. But then I've got 2 other shirts and sweatshirts and fight gear made specifically for fighters. One says my tagline, which we're going to hear in just a second. And the other one just says jab with a period after it. Because we all know jab is the punch that sets up everything else in combat sports. So we've got that, and I appreciate you. All right, Kyle, thank you for being here, and thank you for being here as well. Do me a favor until we see each other next time. Be good to yourself and be kind to others. Pay it forward, play it forward. Rock like a party star, party like a rock star. Smile strong, laugh loud. Last but not least, please like, follow, and subscribe so you will know when to catch up with me next. We got so many more interviews coming your way. We got more wrestling interviews with AEW and TNA professionals, in-ring professionals, by the way. We've got NFL players coming into it, and I will be on Amon Green's podcast for the next 2 months as we work with the Alumni Esports Network so that you can play against your favorite ex-NFL and other sports athletes and beat them in video games. What's better than that? Live at the HyperX Arena starting this Sunday. All right, Kyle, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of the day and have a wonderful fight on September 6th. And you always remember, everyone loves a good fight. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
No problem, my friend.